Okay, I still got to torque those two bolts over there on the head bolts, as I recall. I don't think I finished those. Where I left off last. What was I trying to do? Oh, I didn't retorque the back bolts. That's what I was in the middle of doing. I got to pull the air cleaner back off so I have access to the mounts here. So camera's too close over here, but oh well. So we got to pull this back off right here because it's in the way. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up the motor mount up top here, and the bracket. Once I figure out where my tools went to. I think I can use this one. Nope, doesn't fit. Where are all my tools at? They're all somewhere. Oh, where's everything at? Yeah. Nope, that's one I just took off. There it is. Air cleaner's in my way, so I can get rid of it. Takes you a couple minutes to knock a couple pieces out of your way. It'll save you 20 minutes to a half hour at a time to finish the job. So just take a couple more places, get them out of your way. It can work. Voila, I got more room. I can actually see what I'm doing now. And I can hook up the throttle cable and see what I'm doing. Okay, I want to torque these two head bolts here. Let's double check this one while we're here. It should be tight. Yeah, that's tight. I'm going to try to get this one. See, now we got access to get into this one. We didn't have that before. So once you break it free, then it's loose. See? There we go. Break it free and tighten it. They don't appear to stay tight, surprisingly. Okay, so that's the only one that really stayed tight was back there. The one on the exhaust. Yeah, that's definitely weird. Okay, so I got that all back in there. Gotta get our oil line up in here. Going down. Just at an angle right here, doesn't quite fit, so you tap with a hammer right here, it'll drop down. You want to tap this side, you want to tap this side. Things go in there a lot easier. I think it's bottomed out in the nuts now. Go ahead and torque these down. Tight. Tight. There we go. Good to go. Okay, now we can go ahead and put our push rods in there. I'm not quite at top dead center, but I'm about this far down. So we put our Phillips screwdriver and spark plug hole over there. Bring it up the rest of the way. So now it's right at the very top. So I go ahead and adjust these two valves here. So this one here is slipping the way it was. I got a big rat outside, hear that? Let's go ahead and adjust this thing. Okay, I'm at 0 right now. So 0 means you move everything around and it doesn't move anymore. But you didn't compress anything. So these S&S Quickie push rods, you have the center stem that goes all the way up inside the push rod. This is part of the push rod, that nut. This is your locking nut. So you have to hold this one, rotate this one, or hold this, hold that and rotate that. I usually rotate the top one. I count 18 flats, which is 3 full turns, 6 flats to a turn, because it's a hex. Go 18, I go 1 extra for 19, lock it down, you'll lose about 1 or 2 by the time you torque it. I'll hold this with a little crescent wrench because I don't have that little small wrench right now in front of me. So where's my bucket go? Walked right by it probably. Yep. So just use a little crescent wrench to hold it. I'm going to count out 18 flats there, then I'll lock the nut on it. And that'll adjust it. And we're on top dead center of the compression stroke on the other side. So this is right where the piston's firing right now. So I want to make sure these valves are closed when that piston fires. I don't really care about any place else. So there's all kinds of different ways of doing valves, but that's how I do it. When the motor makes horsepower, the valves need to be closed. Not that you think they're closed there, but closed. Okay, get down here I can see. Now I'm just going to count out our numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'd be a turn and a half. 10, 11, 12. That's 2 turns. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Damn. Tighten the little jam nut. Now you take your 2 wrenches, you hold the one here, the bottom one you put the hex on it, adjust it over so you can put a good pull on it. I can't pull on it here, my hands are too close together. Flip the wrench 180, then you can pull on it. Pull on means all I can do is compress my hand. So make sure you push these 2 wrenches in and pull at the same time. That way I use my palms. That way the wrenches will stay in there with a fork. And that moves quite a bit. There we go. I give it kind of a jerking torque so I can spike it up pretty high. And there, it's tight. Well, make sure you shove your wrenches all the way in because these will spread out and shove you out. Okay, so those are now tight. Now you do not turn this motor over until you can turn this push rod with your hand. Right now it won't turn. You gotta let the hydraulic bleed down, it'll loosen up and you can turn it. So right now we're going to wait. Okay, now this is the cover here that we had the problem with. So this was leaking. So this surface here is flat right now. Maybe a slight inverted flare, which is not where you want it to be. So if I can give this a light bevel like this all the way around, it might seal a little better. So what you do is you lay it on something sharp on the edge here and you tap on it with a hammer until you get a nice even flare all the way around. So I'm going to try something like that. So I got to find something around here to beat on. There's usually a lot of things around here to beat on. I think it's something right here. It's called a piece of two. Yeah, right here in front of us. Look at this. Some framework I was making up for some other project. You can use that. I'll go ahead and take off these parts here so they're out of my way. Hammer. Okay, so I'm going to use my smooth-faced hammer here. It's not quite sharp enough. It's actually bowed in like this a little bit. I think I have a better job over here on the workbench. Right here. It's not super sharp over here, but it'll work. Okay, that puts a little bit of an inverted flare to it like this. Make sure it fits pretty flat. Let's see here. I think there's a little bit of waviness in there now, so I'm going to try to straighten it out a little bit. So you just look at the side here, and it doesn't want to be, you don't want to be wobbling too far, but this is wobbling more than I like. I usually don't like doing stuff like this because it's not perfect. And it's off just a little bit, it'll leak just as bad as if I didn't do it, so. Yeah, this is not. Yeah, I don't like it. It's making it worse than it needs to be. See, as you rotate it, it makes kind of wobbles a little bit on you. Do something else. I don't like that, so we're going to cancel out that. I guess I'll have to make some kind of a flaring tool to do that if I want to keep doing stuff like that, because it's not flat. I don't like it. It ain't no good. So I'm going to put on my 6-jaw chuck here. This will flatten it out. So at least it'll be flat. See, as I beat on this here, it'll flatten it all out. I got to kind of rotate around a little bit, but it'll be nice and flat when we're done. That rotates pretty even. That's what you want to see. So I go over here to my drill press table, right here. I'm going to trip on the floor too while I'm at it. What the hell? Some sandpaper. See how flat it is. It's not 100% flat, but it's pretty close. It's flatter than that cork's going to be. Okay, so that's pretty flat. A little low spot there. You can't feel it, but you can see it. Okay, so that's as close as we're going to get to being good. Get all the darn junk off of it here. So we're wiping off all the grit, because that's grit over there. We don't want that inside our motor, so use your finger to make sure it's clean. Get the outside. Feel it. You don't want no grit on your fingers. Alright, so that's pretty damn flat. That's all we can ask for. Can't get fancy, but we can make it flat. Hopefully flat will be no leaking. So between this being flat and a new cork up in the hole and a hope and a prayer, hopefully it doesn't leak. Notice how it's 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock. Okay, let's go back over here, see how our push rods are going. Back this up a little bit, you can see better. Okay. Okay, I can turn it now. It's still kind of tight, but I can turn it. Okay. I lost my damn rag going through here. Get a new rag and going back for it. Okay, so where's that cover at? Had it in my hand until I lost it. There it is. Okay, so we got cover, springy dingy, washer, and the cork that came off goes in there like that. Make sure it goes inside our cover. Assemble it up onto here. Make sure it goes inside. It does. That's good to go. Okay, there's our push rod. Cork is still up in there. Very important you make sure that cork is there. It'd be a bad day when you do that and there's no cork in there. Well, it wouldn't be that bad. I have to pull the top in. I'll change the cork. I just have to pull out the pusher like I'm doing right now. It's been a short day. Okay, here, click, 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 click. Zero's right there. Where'd my clip go? Okay, now I'm going to do our counting session here. Zeroed. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Okay. Out of my way. Squeeze in with your palms and tighten. Yeah, it's tight. Imagine that. Okay, the other one's getting a lot easier now. See, I can really move it pretty easy with my fingers. Can roll it even a little bit. So that one's bled down. So that took about 5 minutes or so, 8 minutes for it to bleed down. Pretty damn good lifters. Okay, where's our pushrod installation tool? Be this thing called a medium screwdriver. Okay, so we take the cover, poke it up in the head, make sure you're down the cover down there, put the clip up into the head, and you put the screwdriver underneath there like that, and then you just push in with your thumb. As you lift up the screwdriver, and it goes right in. Pull the screwdriver out. Then take it and rotate it back and forth, the whole assembly. So like that, rotate a couple times, let it kind of center on the corks. Hopefully it won't leak. That one's still tight, so we're going to have to wait for that to bleed down. Okay, what else do we got to do here? Get everything else is done. Got to put the cover back on this. Right there. Screw right here. There's no kind of a lock wash on that, so I'm going to fix that problem right now. Okay, so I got me a little small little lock washer. You don't want your point cover to be falling off. You're going down the road. I like the old mechanical locks better than the star washers. They're easier to put in and they seem to work better, I think. Okay. That's installed. Okay, Pushrod is still dead tight. What a shocker. Okay, so we got to work on the throttle cable here. It says you do one thing, you just move on to something else until you get done with something else. Eventually everything gets done. You go in some kind of an order, somewhat. You won't forget stuff. There. Okay, get the, yeah, it's tough as hell, isn't it? A pair of pliers on that. Nothing worse than poking your finger and making yourself bleed just before you go home. Give you a nice crappy night to worry about other stuff wrong. It's not going in the hole like it's supposed to. There we go. Still no knot in there. So if in doubt, unscrew the screwdriver a little bit more. The locking screw. It's obviously being held up on something. Finger out of there, but hold the throttle open a little bit. You might be able to find the sweet spot in there. Nope. There's no sweet spot in there. So the cable's fighting me 100%. There we go. Hey dumbass, just turn the throttle a little more, get more cable. Looks like a champ. Okay, let me back it out. For some reason, we have less throttle than we had before. Well, I remember because I had to pull it shut. Duh. Okay. So I'm putting the wire so it just barely pokes through. Tighten it down right there initially. Make sure the throttle returns all the way. Doing wrong. Something wrong. Alright, there's my problem. I know how to work a damn throttle. Dumbass. Okay, so I'm pulling, these throttles work backwards. So right now it's all the way back. Means you're all the way out. See, if you pull it, it goes the other way. It's backwards. Okay, so that goes there. So right now I'm all the way against the stop. So we're right here. So now what I gotta do, I wanna go back to someone just, you go all the way close. You wanna go forward just a little bit, like there. And we're gonna lock it down right there and see what we have. That way it should be able to return all the way and get full throttle also. That's about where the kink was, so we're probably close. Okay, not super tight, but tight. Oh yeah, we're getting full throttle. It's also closing. So you can watch this cable bend out a little bit as you do this. See, it pulls in, and see how it closes? It pushes it all the way closed. So that way when you push this all the way back like that, it's all the way closed. Okay, so now we got that correct. We'll go ahead and tighten the screw up all the way, which is pretty much where it's at already, but I like to support the mechanism before I do that. Okay, it's definitely tight now. Okay, that should be good. Okay, let's go down here and see what our push rod's like. Still not turning. You can feel out of it now because I'm pumping PS into it. Okay, so this is not rotating. Okay, so we're going to have to let that sit. Let it bleed down. So I guess the last thing to do before I head out of here tonight, I go put the mouse trap on it because I don't like it sitting on top of the seat here. It tends to damage the seat when stuff sits like that. I need some wrenches over here. We're going to adjust this mouse trap. We're going to put the spark plugs in here too while we're at it. See, this plug is a lot cleaner than the other one. So this one's using a slight amount of oil compared to what the other one was. This one's slightly dirtier. No two cylinders are ever equal, and especially when they're breaking in. Okay. Torque. Okay, that is in there. Speedometer cable. While you pull that damn thing out. So to keep these things from falling down, put a little tape around here will help hold them up. We can put a zip tie and cut it too, that'll work also. I'm going to do my tape. So a little bit of black tape works good, electrical. Doesn't need much, just a couple little things like that. Just enough to hold it there, see? You poke it up through the frame here and you should be able to bend it up and get it in there where you need to be. I should have given more free plate. There it goes. That didn't work very well. Don't put the tape so close, dumbass. I can't tell if the square is in a speedometer or not. So go down a little ways. If you make it nice and fat and ugly, it won't drop. You gotta make sure the square goes on the speedo before you start cramming it in there. You don't want to damage it. So you got this throttle cable we're gonna hook up to right here. There are no lock washers or anything around here. Should have some kind of like a flat washer and a lock washer, both. Yeah. Oh well. Design changes midstream. It's a nice shiny new lock washer. We use that. Okay, quarter drive stuff is on the other side someplace. All kinds of sockets, but no tools. Where the tools go? There we go. Okay, just gonna tighten that on down. That will crush the cable if you tighten it too much, so I'm not going to get too carried away with it. I also like to have it off the head, so I'm going to kick it around a little bit. A little torque on it. There we go. That little air gap will knock the temperature inside that cable by probably a couple hundred degrees. Unless you're sitting at a stoplight. Let's see what that did to my throttle. Yeah, it's still stiff. What a shocker. Okay, we're going to try this again. Okay, it goes up there. Alright, that's a little lower this time. Okay, I think I'm going to go on inside the cable. Okay. It's really difficult to do. I don't know why you pulled the damn cable out. So the cable, it went all the way up inside the speedometer head. Now I got to try to get the nut up enough and then get to go tightening. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. There's not much to grab a hold of up in there, as you can tell. So I need some small screwdriver would help, which I don't have. So I'll get one. So you got a small screwdriver like that. I'm going to try to poke it up in there, get it to come up somehow. I think we need two screwdrivers. We just happen to have two screwdrivers. Oh, there's a stupid wire in the way. I wonder why the nut didn't want to go up. Stupid ass wire over there. Okay. Damn wire's pushing the nut down. There we go. See? No problem. It don't really look like it was a pain in the ass to do. It is. Okay, it's in there. Take a pair of channel locks and just lightly torque it. Don't need much, just a little bit. A little bit more than finger tight, but not much more than that. Okay, so that should be all on there pretty good. Okay. There's our speedometer cable. Now if I put it on the inside here where it looks really nice and pretty, see the cable goes right on the cylinder and cooks it. If I put it right out here on the outside edge, right here, it works a lot better. The only problem is going to have a mouse trap right here, so I don't think we have that option. So then we're just going to have to do something different. So if I take this right here and do a little twist to it, it'll get me off the cylinder, keep me off the linkage here, and take care of the problem. So we're going to take our channel locks, put a little twisty action in there. Bend it out a little bit helps too, I think. All right. It probably won't stay there, but we tried. So you got to bend up through here. Right now we're off of that. It can freely go wherever it wants to. If you put a zip tie over here, that would help it quite a bit. See, so if it just sits freely there, it's going to bounce around wherever it wants to. So as long as it wants to be free, we're okay with that.